If you're new to writing and are feeling stuck, let the Phantom Tollbooth help you. Here are 5 beginner lessons to take from the Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. I'm Ethan, and today we're going to be transporting ourselves through the world of the Phantom Tollbooth. The Phantom Tollbooth follows Milo, a bored kid who assembles a magical toll booth, and that takes him on a whimsical adventure through lands like Dictionopolis and Digitopolis, teaching him the power of words, numbers, imagination, and curiosity. For beginner writers, this book is a masterclass in creativity and imagination. We're going to look at the very start of this book for our first lesson, which is don't let your exposition drag. Within pages, we go from a boring bedroom to rolling through the new world in a car. We meet peculiar characters who use a sort of Alice in Wonderlandian type logic to navigate conversation and run their society. We can learn the importance of getting to the good stuff quickly and not letting our words just sort of dry out and grow stale in the reader's mouths. Milo wouldn't get far in the story without his faithful companion, Talk. Featured with him on the book's cover is a dog who is part clock, thus named a watchdog named Talk. Norton Juster plays with words and names in such a childlike, fantastical way. It's nothing but fun and jokes, making it highly accessible to children. All of us may not be child or children book authors, and we have an interest for maybe an adult audience. There is still something that we can take from this book. Make your characters distinct. Talk is a loyal friend who helps Milo learn the value of spending time wisely. When we construct characters, we need to think how they will add to the overall story. This book is loaded with characters, and they all had their place. They all felt distinct and different, and they contributed to the story in a very real way. So taking our time to carefully think about how each of our characters add or contribute to the story is a very wise way of thinking, or wasting our time, just like the lesson from the Watchdog Talk, in what we write. Another stop along Milo's journey is his run-in with the demons. I know it feels sort of out of left field to be like on this magical journey and meeting all these characters, and then all of a sudden one of them is like, wait, look out for the demons. It was a little off-putting, I'm not gonna lie. However, these demons in this book were terrific characters, and I think they added a lot of depth, and really each one a valuable lesson that the characters really had like to learn something important with each encounter of one of these demons. There's this one guy, he's a gelatinous giant, so this huge guy who wants to eat Milo and his friends. And he also happens to be made out of jelly. His body has this sort of chameleon-like quality to where it changes to match with his environment. So if he's in a city, he would look like a big giant tower or building and blend in there, or where they find him is in the mountains, so he kind of looks like a rocky mountain type person. His weakness though, and spoilers for this book that came out in the 1900s, but his weakness was independent thought. I thought it was brilliant. That leads us into lesson number 3, don't be a glob of jelly. Seriously, just stick to your ideas. You don't want to be just whatever is around you. When you change, because we will all change, make sure that you're changing because you are changing and not because others are changing you. In this book, there are 2 warring kingdoms who don't get along with each other. There's Dictionopolis and Digitopolis, and they're both helmed by these brothers who will never get along. Milo does learn, however, of these 2 princesses who are named Rhyme and Reason, who can come back and unite all the kingdoms. This story really isn't complex in its plot or its ideas, it's just very clever in its execution. So that leads us into lesson 4, don't be afraid of simple. Sometimes we try to overcomplicate things too much. We can also do this with complex sentences, we can do this with over-exaggerating and just saying way too much. There are just some really creative, hard to explain creatures and concepts in this book. But Norton Juster doesn't bog it down with a bunch of metaphors and similes and what's called purple prose. Those fancier, longer sentences have their place, but beginners tend to try to be the head chef when they still need to learn to be a line cook. And remember, salt is delicious, except when it is overused. Juster will sometimes overuse adjectives or descriptors or modifiers for a comedic effect, which is obviously an exception to the rule. It should be noted that this sort of pressure gauge on adjectives and literary devices and all those metaphors, similes, stuff like that is purely artistic. It is not scientific in the least, meaning you could have too much for one person and not enough for the next. However, appealing to a general audience, at the risk of sounding like a gelatinous giant, you want to be careful how readers will interpret your writing. Let's go straight into lesson number 5. This book ends with a heartfelt goodbye as Milo is transported back to his room, only a mere hour removed from the start of the adventure. The lesson Milo learns is the importance of time and how precious it is. I really was moved by this book. I think a greatness within a book can transcend its core targeted audience, which at time is immensely important. Don't waste your time. Now is the time to begin on your writing. Now is the time to practice and get better. Don't wait for another opportunity to come along, because one day the opportunities are not going to be there. So if you haven't started on that passion, whatever it is, even if it's not writing, start, work on it now, right? Find some time. And it doesn't have to be a monumental move. As long as you get started in the right direction in some way, that is a monumental move in its own. You don't have to dig through a mountain today. So The Phantom Tollbooth isn't just another classic book. It's a great lesson-filled book, and it's a writer's dream in terms of how it can affect an audience member. Which of these lessons did you find the most valuable? Let me know in the comments, please. I'm very much interested to learn. And if you've read the book, what did you think? I would give this book a 5 out of 5. It is so good. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit like, and you can subscribe to this channel to strengthen your writing skills, and also join the community to help build it, and so that we can all share and learn from each other. If you want to start simple and slow, that's fine. I have a playlist that I'll put up on the screen somewhere here that is a word a day that you can learn and practice to build your vocabulary stronger and improve the power within your writing skills. And just a little something to help aid your learning. It's like a Flintstone vitamin for your vocabulary. So that's it. That's the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Take care.